In the final lecture this week, I'm going to discuss an identity category and that we'll all probably be using a lot throughout this semester. The term queer has had many meanings throughout its history in the English language, and today is often used as an umbrella category to refer to anyone whose identity or experience is non-heteronormative. The classic use of queer has existed in English for at least 500 years and is often used to refer to things that are seen as odd, unusual, or strange. Beginning in the late 19th century, and more commonly since the 1950s, queer has been used as an insult to refer to people who have sex with people of the same sex or gender, and historically been applied mainly to men who have sex with other men. Beginning in the 1970s and continuing today, there's been an active movement to reclaim the word queer, and it is commonly used today as an umbrella term for non-straight and/or non-cisgender people and their communities. However, this use of the word queer as an umbrella identity category is met with mixed feelings and perceptions by the people to whom it's applied. Some of the positive perceptions for the word queer is that it offers a shorthand way of referring to identity categories that aren't heterosexual or cisgender. It can also summarize what has become a long list of acronym identity categories. It's also useful for people whose experiences or identities don't fit neatly into one of the more well-known identity categories. Finally, referring to or promoting the queer community as a united contingent is useful politically. If you can claim to speak for or advocate on behalf of everyone whose identity or behavior doesn't fit heteronormative expectations, you can demonstrate power in numbers, in collective organizing, and solidarity. However, there are also some negative or cautious perceptions about using the term queer in this umbrella identity category way. First and foremost, it relies on a historical slur, which may be particularly traumatic, especially for older people for whom this word was an insult and may have been accompanied by physical violence. Using queer as an umbrella category also collapses or ignores important differences between identity groups and their lived experiences. Hopefully, it's easy to understand why the lived experiences of a gay man may be different from those of a trans woman. Using queer as an umbrella identity category also may ignore how other identities outside of sexuality and gender intersect with people's lived experiences. These may include race, class, or ability. Finally, politically organizing under a queer umbrella may minimize or ignore different priorities between people within that community. For example, much of the past 20 years of queer political activism have been dominated by efforts to access equal marriage rights. However, the ability to legally marry may not have been a priority for example, transgender people who statistically faced greater challenges with employment and housing discrimination than cisgender, lesbian, and gay people. While I and others in our course may continue to use the term queer as an umbrella identity category, it's important to remember that its use is not without controversy and detraction.